I was really young and I didn't like who my mom was dating. And she had every right to date who she wanted. She was a single mom and she was doing a great job and she wanted to date and this guy and she were getting serious and I was young and everything bothered me. So I asked if I could go live with my dad for a month. Just laugh at my fat.
I just looked.
Mom.
What?
It's not funny.
It was wobbling.
Oh, Mom. That's not funny.
Well,
I've gained 10 pounds. It's definitely all in my belly. It's a nightmare. Anyway, this is going to be a short video. We're on the video. This is going to be a short video.
okay.
And
How short?
my brother's interrupting in the background. Pete, what are you doing? Don't interrupt us.
Uh-oh.
The baby's back there. Can you see the baby? Hi, kid. Put your head down. I love you. Little brat. Okay, anyway, back to you
Yes.
laughing at my belly. We just wanted to post a quick video and say that we're safe.
Well, we are safe. I do want to dance.
Now?
Well-
You're not supposed to be dancing outside in the embers
Pollution.
and the pollution. Yeah, let's save the dancing for another time. What is your question?
Have you ever told everybody the story of us, you, Pete, little Pete, me? Have you ever just told him that story?
I don't know that I have.
Well, that would be interesting since I can't dance.
Yeah?
Yes.
Well, okay, I'll tell the story, but because I'm going to tell the story, it would be weird if I'm just focusing the camera on you the whole time. So I'll turn the camera around on me, but not today.
Oh,
Maybe I'll do it tomorrow,
okay.
and I'll tell the story. I think it would be an interesting story. I don't think people know
Yeah.
of how my brother back there became my brother.
Yeah. Immaculate conception.
Something like that. Something like that. And how little Petey became my son.
And my grandson.
Yes.
Thank God.
Yes. That would be a nice video.
It would, I think.
But anyway, quick update. We're fine.
Yes.
We're safe.
I have a stiff neck.
Yeah.
I slept wrong.
You do have a stiff neck.
Yes.
Anyway, I hope you feel better.
It's better than a stiff upper lip.
Ew, how ugly. God. What the hell? Where does that come from?
Oh, well.
Ew. The things you say, the things that everybody says, you think of these things that they say, they're so ugly.
Oh.
Well, a stiff upper lip?
Yes.
What the heck is that? All right.
I'm in this mood.
You are. It's great. It's great. You're feeling good?
I am.
All right. So we literally were going to do this for 3 minutes. So that's been 3 minutes. Checking in with everybody, telling everybody we're safe. We're fine. We were unaffected by the fire. We had a close call at one point, but completely fine.
Yes.
And that we love you.
And then I read the comments and I love them. I love those comments and I love you for writing them. Bless your heart.
You're so cute.
Oh.
All right. I will add this video to the beginning of the video that I'll do later talking about the family. How's that?
Okay.
Well, good morning. Yesterday, Mom said I should tell you the story of how little Pete became my son and how my brother became my brother. It didn't just happen organically. So I thought, what the heck is this? And it's in the morning and I'm about to start my day. This hair, all the hair. Anyway, I'm taking you with me on my morning routine because I don't have a lot of time to do a video right now. So where do I start? I'm gonna have to interrupt this in the middle to order my coffee. That's gonna be kind of a weird thing. I was really young. My phone's probably gonna fall. Please don't fall, phone. I was really young and I didn't like who my mom was dating. And she had every right to date who she wanted. she was a single mom and she was doing a great job and she wanted to date and this guy and she were getting serious, and I was young and everything bothered me. So I asked if I could go live with my dad for a month, or not a month, the whole summer in San Diego. Now, my mom and dad had been divorced for a long time and they really didn't speak to each other. And I had very little relationship with my father, very little. Sometimes he wouldn't even send a Christmas or a birthday card. I mean, it was just, there was no relationship, really. He was very close to my younger brother, but for me, there wasn't a lot of relationship. So I asked him if I could stay, and at first he said no, and I said, please, I need to get away from here and I have nowhere to go. And so he let me come. So I went to San Diego, and there was like a weird tension. It wasn't comfortable, and he didn't make me feel that welcome. And one day we got into an argument over something so small. It must have been about, I left something somewhere on the floor or something. I have to order my coffee.
I have no idea what your name is, but I do recognize the face. Hey, Gio.
Gio, that's right.
Whoa.
Well, thank you.
I'm
Sun is there, the sun. So anyway, I go to San Diego. We get in an argument, and I go out, and he lives in an apartment complex, and I sit out by the pool. And while I'm sitting out by the pool, I meet these two young guys that are Guidos. And when I say Guidos, they're Guidos, you know, and they're from Jersey. And they're like, we're not from New Jersey, we're from Jersey. And they made me laugh. They were really funny. And one of them, even though he was young, he was a teenager still, was married and had kids, which I thought was the weirdest thing I'd ever heard of in my life. And the other brother was young and a party animal already. They were both older than I was. So we got to know each other, and I finally had friends there. And we became very good friends. And over the course of the summer, you know, their mom, so the backstory on that is they came out from New Jersey, and they brought their mom and their dad. Their mom and their dad had been divorced for a long time, but were very, very, very close friends because the father had a war injury, and so the mom still took care of him. She was amazing. But the mom had a long-time boyfriend with her too. So it was the three adults, and then the two boys, his two kids, and then he was married, obviously. So this big family was living in this apartment. And I was like, why are you all living here? And he said, well, I have to pay for my coffee. He said, our house got rented out from underneath us. We were moving cross country, and so the realtor put us up here in this apartment building until they find us another house. So I made friends with the whole family. They were wonderful. And the mom kept telling me, you don't belong here. You belong at home with your mom. You're a good boy. You don't belong here. You don't belong with your dad. He's not nice to you. I see how he treats you. I see how he talks to you. He's not a nice person, you know. So I started spending more time with them, less time with my dad. Then my dad and I got into a raging, blowout, horrible fight. I mean, it was a tough one. And he said something to me that changed my life forever. He said, your mother was pregnant when I met her, and I agreed to marry her, and I agreed to raise you as my own. Oh, the timing of this is just, here's the cliffhanger, right? I gotta pay for my coffee. So, coffee. My dad and I get in a blowout, raging fight, and he, so hot, he tells me that I'm not his son, that he named me, he picked out my name, and he tried to love me the best he could. But when he had a biological child with my mom, which is my little brother, that he really bonded to him and realized that he just couldn't really get over the fact that I wasn't his son. So that's why there was distance our whole life. And I was in shock. I was stunned. I didn't know what to do or say or think. I was numb. And I said, well, who's my dad? And he wrote down this name on a piece of paper, and it said Giovanni Agnelli. And I said, who is that? And he said, ask your mother. I have no idea. Now remember, back in the early 80s, there was no internet, there was no Google, there wasn't anything. I had no way of knowing anything, finding anything out, and I just had this mystery. So I hated him. But looking back in hindsight, just looking back now, what he did was noble. I respect him for trying. You know, a lot of guys wouldn't take on that responsibility. But he was a dick. I'm sorry, he was a dick. And he was always a dick to me when I was young, and that was a dick move that he pulled. So he said, you can't stay here. I don't even want you here. I want you to go back to your mom. Well, I was also furious with my mom. I was like, I cannot believe this is happening to me. So I went over to my friends that I had made, and I told them what happened. And she said, you can stay here for a while for the rest of the summer. You have to call your mom and let her know. And I was like, okay. So my mom and dad didn't talk, and my mom just thought I was with my dad. And so for like 8 weeks, 9 weeks, I was there. And my friend's dad said to me, the sweetest man, who couldn't love you? You're a good, kind boy. And I would be honored if you would be my son. And he's like, can I adopt you? Ooh. I felt so much love in that house. I felt so accepted and so loved. And they treated me, they taught me how to, you know, my mom was perfect and amazing. And I have no issues with my mom whatsoever. When you're an angsty teenager, everything bothers you, and you look for problems where they don't even exist sometimes. My phone is gonna keep dying. It's not useless, and I keep getting emails. I'm sorry. So I felt love with this family, and to the most important part, my friend that was married and had 2 kids, one of his children was blind. It was a newborn baby, and a few months old. It wasn't newborn, and was born normal. And then after a series of vaccinations in 1 or 2 days, something happened after the vaccinations, like on the 3rd month when they vaccinated the baby. He went limp. He stopped looking around. He stopped making eye contact. He stopped cooing, and essentially they said there was some sort of brain damage that happened, and he was completely blind. And then he had a little girl, just a toddler, and she was just sweet as pie. So all of a sudden, I'm a kid, basically, and I'm in this family, and I don't ever want to leave this family. I love them. I love them so much, and I feel welcome and warm. And so I called my mom, and I said, Mom, my friend's dad's going to adopt me. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I've been living with my friend, not with dad. The scream on the other end of that line, that woman was on a plane that day. She came out there. She came out guns blazing. It's actually very terrifying. And, that was an adventure. So she comes out. She meets the family. And she's like, you're going home, get home, get home. And she's like, they're a wonderful family. They're very nice. I know you're safe. I know you're taken care of, but you got to come home now. And I said, if you make me come home, I will run away again. And every time you leave the house, I will run away again. You can't keep me a prisoner. Eventually I'll escape and I'll run away and I'll come back here. That was very, very mature for my age, even though that's a very immature thing to say and to do to your mother. So she agreed to let me stay with these people. And they became my family out there. I had a second family. So I had basically a second mom, a second dad, a second brother, another brother. I had a niece and a nephew and a sister-in-law, and everything was really, really wonderful. But there was a lot of pressure from their family back on the East Coast. They were very angry that my new brother had taken his mom and dad all the way across the country away from the rest of the siblings. There were 6 boys in total. And so there was a lot of guilt that played into it. And so the mom and her boyfriend and the one brother all went back to New Jersey. They all left. And so now it's me, my brother, the 2 kids, his wife, and my stepdad, my new dad. Things aren't really moving or going in San Diego, and I start really missing my mom, and I was like, why don't we move to Colorado? Like, you guys, I think, would really like Colorado. And so we did. We moved to Colorado, and they loved it. And shortly after the move, our father died. My stepdad passed away. And it was terrible. It was awful. And then my brother got a divorce from his wife. So now it's me, my brother, and 2 kids, and one of them is completely disabled and helpless. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, my life is completely not what I expected it to be. You know, I'm still, I don't think I'm old enough to drive at this point. But my family back in Colorado embraces all of them so much, loves them so much. They become part of my family. My aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my grandma. Grandma was obsessed with that baby and with all of it. Like, they became our family. So we immediately became bonded and family, and then he was happy. So, I forgot to mention that my brother's mom passed away. He didn't even get to see her. She died in her sleep. She was 50. And she died in her sleep. So he had no mom and no dad. And he wasn't even 21 years old yet. So my mom became his mom, the way his mom became my mom. So the way that they took me in when I needed it, my family took him in and became his family. It's blood. It's just like we are family. You can't say that we're not family. But I bonded with that baby boy like you cannot believe. That little boy, we had a connection that I'd never felt. Like, I felt like he could understand everything I was saying, and I understand everything that he was saying, and I just showered him with love and affection and squeezed him and hugged him and tried to teach him. And my mom and my mom taught, my little girl's name is Crystal, and they became my kids. They became my kids. It was my 2 dads. It was now my brother, because he was my brother, and the 2 kids, and they had the 2 dads, and then grandma. And I remember these wonderful memories of my mom teaching her how to read, sitting in the chair by the fire, reading Jocko the Monkey, and teaching her how to read these stories, and it was just an amazing, incredible thing. And so that's how it happened. Never found out who my real father was. It's, a lot of people assume this name is also a very famous Italian car maker's name, and it's not that. I actually thought it was for a little while, because I had a friend that's like, oh, I know your dad. He talked about you, and just batshit crazy. So for a little while, I thought that could be a possibility. I went down that road. There was a farmer that I found that I thought could have been it. There were, it's a very, very, very common Italian name. It is a very common, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. But I did the DNA ancestry test, and I am 82% Italian. So it's definitely an Italian papa. So we're living in Colorado, and then my brother says, I don't think you're going to do well here. He's like, I think that you would do better in California. I think there's more opportunity for you. I think you should go back. He's like, but this time you should go to LA. He's like, I think you should try your hand at something. So we packed up and we moved to LA. And it was me, my brother, and the 2 boys. The 2 kids. So we're living in LA, and I'm trying my hand at different things, and I'm working different jobs, and I'm trying my best, and it's hard in LA. It's really, really, really hard. And So, I was like, let me be an actor. That didn't work. Let me be a manager. That didn't work. Let me, a lot of things that I tried. And then I was like, let me get into nightclubs and entertainment. Let me get into just a variety of things. And some of them worked enough that I could take that money and live very small. I lived a very, very small life. And gave myself the allowance of a very poor person to keep saving for my future. All right, I had to leave because I'm going to be late if I don't get to where I'm going. So I'm living in LA. Things are going phenomenal, and they're getting better and better for me, and my career is advancing, and I'm juggling several different balls. And my brother gets a phone call that says one of his brothers has passed away, and he's devastated. And the brother that calls him is like, look, we haven't spoken for a long time, I know, because there was this grudge that he brought their mom and their dad out to California, and that their dad died out there without them getting to say goodbye. Well, he didn't get to say goodbye to his mom because they brought her back out there, and there was just Italians. So they reconnected, and it was fantastic. And they talked and they talked, and they said, maybe we could come out and visit you in California. I have twins and a girl, and like, you haven't met them. And so they came out to California, and it was, if you know me, I'm like Willy Wonka. I'm like, okay, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have like private tours at Disneyland, SeaWorld. You're going to have oceanfront views in La Jolla. You're going to have a penthouse in Las Vegas. You're going to have the time of your life. I'm just going to show you guys because, you lost your brother. Everybody's sad. And I want these kids to just really come out here and have the time of their life. So they did. And they are a beautiful family. They're wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. And again, more people that I connect with, they connect with me. And the boys tell me they don't think they're going to have much of a life. After school, their plans are they're going to work as garbage collectors. And they said it's very respectable, to be that. Like, I admire you for at least knowing what you want to do and that you're going to go for it. That's great. There's no shame in that. We all have to do the jobs that we have to do that get us by, and hard work is hard work. And they said, we really wish we could stay here with you. We know that we could be happy here. We really love this California. And all of a sudden, I was back to being a kid and remembering when I came to California and I didn't want to stay, and I met this new family, and I didn't want to leave them, and I didn't want to go home. And it's all deja vu. And I said, your parents will never let you stay here. They will never let you live here. They love you way too much. They convinced their parents, I don't know how, to let them stay. So they went home, they did what they had to do, then they came back, and now it's my brother and these two boys are now part of our lives. So now I've got 4 kids, and they were amazing, and they were wonderful, and they were so great with little Pete. They were so helpful, and they were so kind, and they were so smart. I put them in acting class. They wanted to be actors. That lasted just a minute. They didn't like the people in acting class. They didn't like the whole thing of it. They were brilliant. I made Danny my business partner in a couple of my businesses, in several of my businesses, because he had an eye for detail. He was sharp, he was smart, and he had this street smart. You couldn't pull anything over on that guy. And he was a really amazing business partner. And then his brother got an incredible job opportunity, and he went to Oklahoma. And he was doing really, really well in Oklahoma. And the thing is, with identical twins, you can't separate them like that. It's really, really hard. So they were both unhappy. They were both financially doing really well, but like in their hearts, they were away from each other. And so Danny left California. He said it was the hardest thing he had to do. He loves California. He loves me. He loves, his Uncle Pete. He loves everything here, but he needed to be with his brother. Was like, please come and be with me. So he went, and he started working with his brother, and things went really, really well for them. They bought, I don't know if they built the house or they bought a house that was just built, and they both have the loves of their lives. They're both happily with like their girls. Their girls are amazing, and they're going to have amazing kids one day. And they have grown into well-adjusted, successful, amazing men. I am so proud of them. Those boys. Oh. So now they're my kids. So I have those two boys. I call them my boys. I'm Uncle G, and I've got my other two. My little girl, she was in Colorado. She missed her mom very, very much, and while she was in Colorado, she was sitting in a Perkins or a Denny's, and she saw this boy at another table, and she thought he was cute. She loved Tom Green, the comedian Tom Green, and he reminded her of Tom Green. And they start talking, and then they start dating, and then she's like, I love him so much. It's her first boyfriend, her first kiss, and you know, all of the horror that goes into that as a dad going, oh God, what the hell. But he was a great guy, and they got married, and that was probably more than 15 years ago, and they're still happily married, maybe longer. You know, my mom is their grandma. Everybody calls her grandma, and my mom will cut your throat and dump your body in a vat of acid if you say that my brother is not her son. That is her son. That is her son. That they are so close. They're best friends. And Grandma and Pete were best friends. Every single day they were together. Every single day they were best friends. It's unbelievable. So I have another a biological brother from my mom, and that man that was my dad that ended up not being my dad, and he lives out here with my mom too. So he lives with my mom. He's very private. He's like, do not talk about me, leave me off of that, because, you know, we would get recognized when we would go out and people would talk to us, and he's like, leave me out of all of that nonsense. I don't mention my name. I don't like it. He's very private, but he's out here. So, and he considers Pete his brother. He's like, where's my brother? Call my brother. So that's the story of how little Pete became my son, and Danny and Eric became my boys, and Crystal. You know the weird thing about Crystal? This is the weird thing about the universe and God, right? They are the Southern Italian genes, which are very dark skin, dark eyes, dark features. And I'm Northern Italian according to my DNA. The kids all look like me. They all look just like me. They all have blue eyes, light eyes, and it's remarkable to look into my daughter's face and be like, holy cow, you look just like me. She looks like my mom. She looks exactly like my mom. That's God's work. He made the family for us. Anyway, that's the story. I'm in this place called Griffith Park, and it's going to be spotty, so I'm going to sign off for now. But I love every one of you. That was rude. I love every one of you. Bye. Where do I look?